What's up, guys? This video is a long time coming, and I filmed it. This is like the third time I've tried to film this. The first time I got a phone call, it ended up being a pretty long phone call. The second time I filmed the whole thing, and then when I watched it back, there was like this weird ticking noise. I don't know where. I think it's from the cord I had plugged in. And then shit was off. Like, I don't know, like I'd be talking and my mouth and the words weren't lining up, so it looked like an old Japanese fighting movie or something. Yeah, it drove me crazy, so I figured it would drive you guys crazy. So that's why I didn't use that one. So round 3. So this is my vaping story. I've talked about it, about doing it, so I'm finally gonna do it. But before I start, right, I know my kids watch these videos sometimes. I know their friends sometimes watch my videos. So I just want to say, like, this is my vaping story. From smoking to vaping. Don't make it your story. Don't make the same mistakes I've made or that other people's made. I know they do a lot better with teaching kids about the dangers of smoking now, and then they mislead them about other things, but, so just, I heard this quote one time, for some reason it stuck with me. A smart person learns from their mistakes, but a genius learns from other people's, right? Nothing can be that true. Like, that's so true. So anyway, here goes nothing. Again. Back in like 93, 94, I was about 13 or 14 years old, right? Hanging out at the bus stop. There's some older kids I was friends with down there. They'd always be down there smoking cigarettes and stuff. So trying to be cool, fit in with the older kids, bum a cigarette, or ask them to hit it. And at first I didn't inhale, you know what I mean? Just kind of like take the drag, keep the smoke in my cheeks. And this girl said something about it, and I was like, no, I inhale. So I actually had to, I didn't cough or nothing, like a lot of people do, but yeah. And I was like, oh, that's how you smoke, And then, like most kids, I started like swiping a cigarette out of my mom or dad's pack here and there. If they had enough in there, they wouldn't notice, right? Just kind of sneak one out while they're in the shower or not around. They're just sitting there. Go hide outside or go for a walk around the block with my friends. Stealing big butts out the ashtray. Whatever. Then I had a friend that lived down the street. His name was Brian. And his grandpa used to buy like cartons of Montclair, I think they were called. These weird ass cigarettes. And he would steal like a whole pack out of his grandpa's carton. And we would go out in the woods. We'd smoke that whole pack of cigarettes, right? Like, while we were hanging out in the woods. And, be all buzzed up from the nicotine, just chain smoking them down. And I remember when I was probably about 15, my mom caught me, right? My mom worked nights, and my dad worked days, but he got up like really early, like 3 o'clock in the morning, and he would leave for work like 4:30, like, I don't know, he was out the door. So me and my brother, we would get up, we would get ourselves together, get ourselves ready for school, go to the bus stop. When I get home from work, my mom would be, or home from school, my mom would be, getting ready for work. My dad would still be at work. Well, one day don't know why my mom was up. She stood in the kitchen. She seen me down at the bus stop smoking, right? I remember I got home. I went in the house and she was getting ready. She started talking to me. And I could tell by her tone, right? Like something was up. Normal questions starting, you know, how was school? Like, good. How was your morning? Good. You know, she's like, how was your day at the bus stop this morning? I was like, what do you mean? It was a normal day, Ma. You know? She's like, oh, so I didn't catch you smoking cigarettes? And like any normal kid, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't smoke cigarettes. You know, deny. She said, I stood right here. And she showed me. She stood on the counter. She's like, and I look down there, and what do I see? You puffing on a cigarette like you're Mr. Cool. And I was like, you didn't see that. Must have been somebody else looked like me, it wasn't me. You know? Yeah, she laid into me pretty good. And, I think I got grounded or something. But it's not like it stopped. You know, it didn't stop me. Then when I was about 16, for some reason, the lady at there's a Dairy Mart at this intersection right by where I live. Like I could just walk there, cross over Route 82 and be at that Dairy Mart. And there was one lady that worked in there. For some reason, she thought I was 18. I never told her that. I don't know, I just went in there. She'd sell me cigarettes, and only her. You know, so I would buy cigarettes for me, I'd buy cigarettes for my friends. If she wasn't working, you know, you stand outside and you hope to find somebody who's, I guess you could say, nice enough to buy cigarettes for some underage kids. Give them an extra $1 or $2. Now, back then, you could get a pack of Marlboros, right, for $2. That was with tax, $2. Back in like 95, 96, 97, $2, right? Now that same pack's like, what, $8 or something? I remember right around that same time, me and my cousin Mark, my younger cousin, we went to New Jersey for spring break, stay with my grandparents. And they lived in Lawrence Harbor, New Jersey. It was right on the harbor. Beach, water, gross water, you know, right off the Hudson River. And there was this store down the street. My cousin Dylan that lived out there came and stayed for a couple nights with us. He's like, yeah, if you write a note, they'll sell you cigarettes. You say the note's from your mom. So he wrote this note, real nice handwriting, like a girl's handwriting. And we went down there and gave the note to the guy behind the counter, and he looked at it. He's like, oh, I don't know, buddy. I don't know. I was like, yeah, well, she's sick, you know. She sent me down here. She's not feeling well. She needs a cigarette. She gave me money. Okay, buddy, this one time, okay? I sell them to you one time. I said, all right. Got 2 packs of cigarettes. We bought some Banaka, you know, like the mouth spray. Went down to the beach, smoking cigarettes. Walked back to Grandma's house, spraying Banaka. Mouth on fire from that shit. Go down. My grandma even made the comment, like, why you guys smell like breath spray? And she worked at like a CVS or a Rite Aid or something. And we're like, oh, you know, so our breath smells good. She said, well, the kids that come in my store and buy that stuff, buy it because they smoke and they don't want nobody to know. My grandparents didn't smoke. My grandpa did a little bit. Like, he had this little pouch with tobacco in it. You roll up. My grandma didn't smoke. But, yeah, I remember, like, well, I don't know what you're talking about, Grandma. We don't do that stuff. But then, you know, you turn 18, you can buy them yourself. By the time I was, like, 17, I don't know, both my parents knew I smoked. I guess they kind of gave up on it. I don't know. was in like my mid-20s, I got in some trouble. Not my proudest moment, right? So I went to jail for like a week, waiting to go to court. Couldn't smoke a cigarette. Got out of jail, smoked. First thing I did when I got out of jail was hit a cigarette. Couldn't wait. Go through all the court proceedings. They gave me 60 days in jail probation, right? With a week time served. So really, I went to jail for like 53 days. Whole time, couldn't smoke a cigarette. Hadn't smoked a cigarette almost 2 months. I get picked up from jail. My girlfriend at the time. First thing I did was light a cigarette. Felt so good. Tasted like shit, but boy did it feel good. Violated probation, went back to jail for like another 4 months. Now I'm like 4 months without a cigarette. My mom and my little brother picked me up. As soon as we get in the car, get a cigarette for my brother. Tasted like shit. Boy, it felt so good. Felt like freedom, right? Violate my probation again. This time I was in there for like 6 months. Told the judge, like, I didn't want probation no more. You know, this is a whole nother story. Maybe one day I'll tell you that one too. So, 6 months I'm in there, and I go to the work pod, right, in the county jail. Like, I'm not just sitting in G-pop for 6 months watching people come in and out. So I go to the work pod. I was working in the kitchen, and I was doing litter, right? Like where you go around picking up garbage. So I go to, we're at the county fairgrounds, cleaning up after the county fair. And somebody finds a pack of cigarettes, full pack of Camel Crush unopened. Somebody else finds a lighter, you know, you're a big group. Well, the sheriffs, they would just kind of sit in the van and just keep an eye on you. As long as you didn't run away, they're just, you know, whatever. There was like this big concrete building had a bathroom in it, like a permanent bathroom, and we hid them in the bathroom along with the lighter. So you go in there, drop a deuce, smoke a half a cigarette, come out all lightheaded, taste it in your mouth like ever. But even after 6 months, I got out of jail. My mom picked me up. First thing I did was smoke a cigarette. We weren't even pulling out of the parking lot, you know? You think after not really smoking, but maybe 1 or 2 cigarettes in 6 months, and like the occasional guy, like the weekend warrior guys that would come in for the weekend on like DUI stuff, they'd smuggle in tobacco in their ball sack or whatever, lighter, like, out of your occasional, like, getting a puff some ball sack tobacco or finding that pack of cigarettes, you really didn't smoke. It was hard to do, you know? And, tasted like shit, but boy did it feel good. Like every other time. Well, then one day, back in what, 2004 or so, I would say, January, February-ish, I got a thing in the mail for a Views. It was for a free device and a pack of free cartridges. So I go to this get-go to buy cigarettes, and I seen they had them. And I asked the guy, I said, you guys take these coupons? He said, yeah, we take the coupons. I said, all right. So I run back out to my car, I grab the coupons, I go inside, I get the free device, and it came with the cartridge. And I get some menthol cartridges. I go home. And we don't smoke in the house. We never did. Or we'd smoke in the basement. Or just one room or something. Mostly you smoke outside, you know. Well, because I got kids. Well, I went home and I put this thing together, you know, and I put the little cartridge in there, just kind of clipped in. There's like a silver tube, and the end lit up white when you hit it. I was on the computer and I was just hitting this thing. I was like, oh, it's not half bad, you know, I can deal with this. A couple hours went by, I was like, man, it's not bad at all. The next day at work, at the time I had this job working at this meat market, making beef jerky and smokies and stuff. We get 2 15-minute breaks and a half an hour lunch. And those 2 15-minute breaks, I can smoke 2 or 3 cigarettes, right? Smoke them one after another, because it's going to be another 3-4 hours, for like 3 hours or so, before you get another break. At lunchtime, I could eat my lunch and smoke 3 cigarettes in a half an hour, no problem. So I'm smoking like a half a pack of cigarettes just at work. Not counting the pack and a half I'm smoking at home. Well, I finished that pack of cigarettes I bought that day. That's the last pack of cigarettes I ever bought. And I started smoking that Buse. Now, there's a big difference between smoking that thing, because they say that each one of those cartridges is about a pack of cigarettes worth of nicotine. The difference between that and smoking a cigarette, there's no beginning and there's no end, right? Like when you smoke a cigarette, you light it up, when it gets to the butt, it's over, you put it out, you don't smoke again for a half hour or so, or until you feel like you need one after you eat something, whatever. Well, when you're vaping one of those things, you just hit it whenever, so you're constantly hitting the fucking thing, just like I'm constantly hitting this or anything else. So I'm going through 2, 3 cartridges a day, and they were like $6 for a 2-pack of those cartridges. I'm buying 1, sometimes 2 of those packages a day. The cigarettes I was smoking, I think I was smoking like Pall Mall menthol at the time. They were like $4.50 a pack, and I'm smoking a pack and a half a day on average. Like, it was more expensive to do that than it was to smoke, right? So then I got like one of those deals at the gas station where you just buy the battery and it comes with like that little clearmizer thing, and you could actually buy coils for this thing with the silica wicks that came out of it. They kind of like hung down in the tank, you know. You could buy coils for those, replacement ones, or you could just buy a new little tank. Once the coil burn out, you just throw that tank away and buy a new one for like $2. And they sold them everywhere. Every gas station, head shop, you could buy them wherever. And I started buying the juice, like little tiny bottle, like little 10 ml bottles of juice. And it lasted a long time. I was like, fuck, man, this is the cheaper route to go. This saves you money. Then I was at work, and this kid I was working with, he was vaping. But I liked this cool little setup he had. He had like this big silver battery, right? And this nice like this silver Kangertech fucking tank fit right on the top. I was like, man, I like that. Where'd you get that? So he tells me, he's like, man, I'll take you there. So we go to this local head shop called the Glass House, right? And I buy this spinner 2 thing, battery, right? You could change just the voltage, right? There's no watts. You just spin the thing at the bottom and you can change the voltage. So I buy that thing, and I buy this Kangertech tank, this like clearmizer. You know, you buy a little 5-pack of coils, put the juice in there. Man, it was cool, right? Well, then I was hanging out with my buddy Donnie and my cousin Eldon. They were working together at the time. Oddly enough, working where I work now, for the company that I run now. And they both had like these E-Leaf mods, right? You could change the wattage and shit. And they had like the Kangertech sub boxes, and they're blowing these big clouds. I'm like, I don't want to blow clouds. How can I get clouds? I can't get clouds with this thing. Now, like, they see me charge it in the van the one day. They were making fun of me because the thing was like sticking out like a dick hanging out the fucking cigarette charger thing. Just you screw it on the little UPS or a USB deal, and you stick it in the car charger, the thing's sticking out like fucking car's got a boner. When I think about it now, I picture it in my head. It was ridiculous. They were making fun of me for it, right? Because they could charge their shit with a cord, and I couldn't. But anyway, so I was like, they were making fun of me for my thing. I was like, yeah, I can make it blow clouds. So what I did what a lot of us probably did, right? You wanted more airflow. I held them with a pair of vice grips, and I drilled out the airflow ports, right? So that way I could get more airflow. Drilled out, made it bigger. From a little tiny hole to a bigger hole. It still wasn't good enough. One day I was driving by this place called LA Vapor. It's like an hour away from where I live. I don't even remember why I was out that way. It's probably for work or something. But anyway, so I walk in there, and I'm talking to the girls that work there. And she sells me the Subbox mini kit, right? Everybody knows that kit. The Kanger Tech kit. Came with a single 18650 mod. Maybe it went up to 50 watts. I don't even remember. Maybe it went up to 100. I don't remember. Right? And it came with the Subbox mini tank. Those tanks were fucking awesome. Right? It came with 2 coils. Even came with an RBA section that I had no idea how to use. Like, you know. And came with, you could get those 0.5 OCC coils. Fucking amazing. Like, game changer for me. Right? And I was buying better juice. Like, oh man, and it was expensive, but it was so good. And then I'm going through a lot more juice, right? Then I used that for a while. Then I bought the Alien 220 kit, right? It came with the Baby Beast tank, fucking amazing. Then I had that for a while. Then I bought the TFV12 tank, the Cloud Beast King, right? Then I bought the mag kit, the Smoke mag kit, 220, dual 18650 batteries. Like, this thing is fucking awesome. So when it first came out, it came with the Prince tank. I didn't really use that tank because I had the big giant fucking TFV12. Well, then I used that for a while, and then one day I show up to this Pizza Hut, and they were supposed to leave the back door unlocked, and somebody fucked up, forgot to leave it unlocked, right? So I was like, well, I'll just wait for the manager lady. Maybe if she shows up on time, lets me in, I can get the job done. So I'm sitting in the parking lot. Usually I'd only wait like 15 minutes. Well, I'm watching these YouTube videos, right? And I stumble across this guy that we all know. Everybody knows who this guy is, right? Whether you watch vape, if you're a vapor, you know Rip Trippers, right? And I see this video for the Creed RTA. I watched that one and a bunch of his other videos, right? Like, it's the first time I ever really seen him. I think I've seen him once or twice before, but never really paid attention. I said, I gotta get me that, right? That thing looks cool. Then I watched this other video of somebody that bought a clone one for way cheaper, and they were talking about how great it was. Well, I make the mistake of buying that, right? This cloned Creed RTA. It was garbage. Like, I wouldn't say garbage, but it was garbage. Like, the holes for the coils were so tiny, right? You could barely put a Clapton in there, like 2 Claptons. You could barely get them in there. I didn't like it. I was like, fuck this thing. I went right to my local vape shop. They had one there. I just spent the money and bought the good one. Went home, figured out how to build it. That was it, right? Once I started with the RTAs, it was over. Now I'm in the hobbyist section of it all. I'm talking, like, and the whole time I'm doing all this transitioning and shit, my buddy and my cousin stepped themselves all the way down to 0 milligrams and quit vaping altogether. Because that's the great thing about vaping. That's what it's there for you to switch from smoking to something a little healthier, right? Or a lot healthier. And ever since I made that switch, I don't get sick anymore. No more bronchitis every year. Like, I can, like, do things with my kids. I don't lose my breath like I used to. Like, I mean, just the change in my life has been amazing. And I'm sure there's a lot of other people out there that feel the exact same way. But anyway, I had an RDA that I had won in a contest at my local vape shop, right? So I won the Doc RDA when it very first came out by Plan B Co. Great RDA. The guy at the vape shop helped me set it up, even though at that time you weren't allowed. He helped me put the coils in it, show me how to wick it. Like, this thing was awesome. I loved it. I used it all the time at home. But it's a dripper, so I didn't have a squonk mod. I didn't even know what a squonk mod was at the time. So I didn't use it while I was driving around. I still used my sub-ump tank, but I'd use it at home, and I fucking loved it. Once I bought that Creed RTA, it was over. Once I learned how to build that thing, it was over. And I've got so many RTAs now, so many mods, so many RDAs. Like, I love the hobbyist side of it. I love wicking my shit. I love getting new shit in the mail. And, like, you get out the tank, you take it apart, you check out the build deck, you build that bad boy. Like, I love the whole process of it. And probably if it wasn't for that, I probably would have quit vaping by now. But I don't want to, and I don't have to, because it's who I am, and a free, law-abiding American citizen with rights and choices I can make. That's my choice, and that's what I'm going to do. And I love it. And it's like an addiction. Like, just like, I don't know. If you're a hobbyist and you like building your own shit, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? And that's where we are today, you know? I mean, I got dual coil RTAs, mesh RTAs, single coil RTAs, RDAs, like so many different mods, squonk mods. Like, it's just an amazing thing. So that's my vaping story. From smoking to vaping. That's it. Tell me yours, right? If you can comment on my channel, you have a YouTube channel. You know what I mean? Like, because in order to leave comments, you have to set up a channel. You might not have any videos on it, but make a video of your own vaping story, right? Send me a link. I'd love to watch it. I'd love to see your face, right? Love to see who my subscribers look like. You see my face. For going on a half an hour, you've been looking at this face. I know it's not the greatest thing to look at. I'd love to hear your voice. You got to hear my shitty voice all day. Let me hear yours, right? Or just, if you don't want to do that, leave me a comment. Like, a couple people's told me their story, you know, how they were sick and stuff, and how vaping changed their life. Tell them. I love to hear it. And if you leave it in the comments, other people can hear it too, and other people can see it. That's a great thing that we have. Like, one of the great things the internet has allowed people to do is share their stories, so other people can see them and get inspiration from them, or learn from them, even learn what not to do, right? So do that. You know, don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video if you want, tell your friends all about it, or don't. It's up to you, you know. I hope everybody out there is staying safe and healthy, and, you know, just moving forward every day. I hope this video turned out better than the last 2 times I tried to do it. And I'm thinking about making a video on how I mix my juice to, like, make it last longer, like cut it in half. If you want to see that, let me know. I'll do that. Also, I might make a video about my troubles. I don't know. I have, like, plans for a lot of videos, but I kind of don't do them, or I second guess them, because my kids do a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things my kids don't know about my life before they were born. You know, my kids, they see me as just this hard-working guy that takes care of them. And I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't drink hardly ever. I don't, like, my kids, any of my kids, from the ages of 20 to 6 have probably only seen me drunk once or twice in their entire lives, if that. Like, I mean, they've seen me drink a beer here and there, but when they do, like in the summertime, I'll be outside grilling and just have a beer, they're like, Dad's drinking beer! Like, you know, as far as my kids are concerned, I'm just this boring old guy that goes to work every day and bitches at them when they do wrong stuff. So for them to see some of that stuff, that might be a little weird for them. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, they're getting older. They can start learning things, understanding how the world really works. But yeah, like I said, I hope everybody's being safe. And see you in the next one, right? You guys be good. And remember, tell me your story. I want to hear it. Have a good one.